You may already know that UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Object. But have you ever heard of USO? Similar to UFOs, USOs also refer to unidentified objects. However, instead of appearing in the sky, they are found underwater. They can be in any body of water, from the deep ocean to large lakes and rivers. Our planet is covered by water up to 70% of its surface. Because of this, water serves as a perfect cover, hiding the real mysteries beneath. In 2022, the U.S. Department of Defense announced that its USO investigation office would be expanded, with additional functions to study unidentified underwater objects. Many historical pieces of evidence suggest that bodies of water are excellent hiding places for extraterrestrial visitors. We have encountered them, chased them away, and have even been given hints about their underwater bases. Could USOs be real? In our search for extraterrestrial life, have we unknowingly overlooked the deep, mysterious waters? Let's find out together in the next 30 minutes. Welcome to this video. Aliens hiding in our oceans. First, the Facts 360 TV channel hopes you can support this video by giving it a like, so it can reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss the most exciting content. Now let's dive right into the main topic. Unidentified flying objects have always been associated with the sky since their first reported sightings. After the Roswell incident in 1947, people automatically assumed that UFOs were alien spacecraft visiting Earth, and that extraterrestrials always came from the sky. However, few people realize that since World War II, mysterious stories have circulated about strange submarines appearing in different parts of the world. These were called phantom submarines, because no one at the time could explain where they came from, what they were doing, or why they moved so fast. You might see them appear on the radar screen, but within seconds, they vanish without a trace. Many military forces around the world once believed they were enemy submarines and desperately tried to attack or chase them down. Yet, the result was always nothing. These strange objects remained undamaged, no matter how intense the firepower. They moved faster than any warship ever built by humans and were impervious to all kinds of attacks. It was as if they did not belong to this world. These phantom submarines laid the foundation for a new concept, unidentified underwater objects. Thus, USOs were born. Over time, the term USO no longer referred solely to phantom submarines, but also to strange objects near coastlines, or even unidentified creatures. Even when something suspected to be a USO crashes and sinks to the bottom of the ocean, it is still classified as a USO. Conspiracy theorists believe that USOs, like UFOs, are extraterrestrial technology brought to Earth. Some even claim that aliens use deep oceans and large freshwater lakes to conceal their active bases. Like all other theories, USOs have been met with skepticism for decades. That is, until July 2009, when RT International published a shocking report. This report stated that the Russian Navy had declassified several documents related to USOs from the Soviet era. These files included testimonies from eyewitnesses, military personnel, and scientists, detailing encounters, interactions, or even missions involving mysterious underwater objects. For the first time, USOs were taken seriously. The declassified records were compiled by a special investigative unit, led by the Deputy Commander of the Russian Navy, Admiral Nikolai Smirnov. But what exactly did these files reveal? Are these accounts credible? Have people been right to suspect this mystery all along? Most of the reports describe astonishing encounters with USOs, witnessed in various cases, including by experienced Soviet military personnel. One particularly notable figure was Rear Admiral Yuri Beketov, a retired submarine commander. He revealed that during his missions in the Bermuda Triangle, USOs frequently appeared. "There's no way for us to detect their arrival in advance," he said. "The only thing we could do was guess. Whenever multiple devices malfunctioned simultaneously for no clear reason or experienced intense interference, we knew it was here." Beketov and his crew encountered USOs traveling at speeds of up to 232 knots underwater. For comparison, the fastest submarine ever built, the Soviet K-222, could only reach 82 kilometers per hour. A speed of 400 kilometers per hour underwater is far beyond the technological capabilities of modern human engineering. And it doesn't stop there. As USO gained more serious attention, researchers started re-examining past cases. That's when an astonishing event documented in the book, Russia's USO Secrets, caught everyone's attention. This event was called the Frogmen of Lake Baikal. And this is Lake Baikal, the place we've been talking about. Known as the deepest freshwater lake in the world, it has an average depth of 758 meters, with its deepest point reaching over 1,700 meters. The mysterious story of the Frogmen of Lake Baikal began in the summer of 1982. Right here, a group of Soviet military divers was conducting underwater combat training. Everything was proceeding normally until they encountered a bizarre creature. This being stood nearly 3 meters tall, resembled a human, but moved much faster. Despite the extremely cold water temperatures, it appeared completely unaffected. Some soldiers described these creatures as wearing silver diving suits and full-cover helmets. Yet they carried no oxygen tanks. Unable to explain what they were seeing, the soldiers nicknamed them Frogmen. After much discussion, the team devised a plan to capture one alive for research. A 7-man squad was quickly assembled, armed with nets, and they dove to a depth of 50 meters. As expected, the Frogmen appeared once again. However, just before they could close in and capture one, something unleashed a powerful underwater force, violently repelling the entire team. In an instant, they were thrust back to the surface. What you may not know is that at 50 meters deep, the human body gradually adjusts to the surrounding pressure. Being forcibly pushed to the surface so suddenly caused them to suffer from severe decompression sickness. 3 soldiers died instantly. The remaining 4 were left permanently disabled. The mission was a complete failure. All information regarding the Frogmen of Lake Baikal was classified as a state secret, strictly forbidden from public disclosure. However, after several Soviet-era records were successfully declassified, some researchers began suspecting that these creatures were, in fact, an extraterrestrial species living beneath Lake Baikal. This theory was further reinforced in April 2009, when NASA released a mysterious image of Lake Baikal. In the photo, a massive circular formation with a diameter of approximately 4 kilometers can be clearly seen, seemingly formed by thin ice. According to NASA's official report, this was not the first time. Such a phenomenon had been observed at Lake Baikal. Similar formations had been documented in 1994 and 1985. But why do these mysterious circles keep appearing? How are they formed? Take a closer look. The area beneath the circular formation is still frozen, just like the surrounding environment. However, the ring around it is not. This suggests that something beneath the ice is generating heat, preventing the water in that area from freezing. Now think about it. What could be producing heat in a place like this, other than artificial activity? This is precisely why many believe that a hidden base lies beneath Lake Baikal, or at the very least, a massive alien spacecraft. Its operations could be raising the water temperature in certain areas, leading to the formation of these mysterious ice rings. But is this really the truth? Is there any other evidence to support this seemingly outrageous theory? Unfortunately, to this day, the question of whether USO exist in Lake Baikal has not been thoroughly investigated through direct field research. As a result, its credibility remains low, and it is often dismissed as fantasy or pseudoscience. However, that doesn't mean all USO-related incidents are unreliable. Lake Baikal may not contain an alien base or any underwater spacecraft, but many still speculate otherwise. But the Baltic Sea is a different story. Take a look at this. This mysterious object was accidentally discovered in 2001 by a professional salvage team from Ocean X Seas. Since its discovery, researchers have faced immense difficulties in trying to determine its true identity. So, what exactly is it? Could it be a remnant of an ancient civilization? Or perhaps a spacecraft left behind by extraterrestrial visitors? In June 2011, Sweden's Ocean Katsag salvage team discovered the wreckage of a wine transport ship about 90 meters deep on the Baltic Sea floor. They planned to dive down and recover any valuable remains from the ship. But while using sonar equipment to scan the area, Ocean X accidentally detected a massive circular object appearing on their screen. The object resembled a giant disk with a diameter of approximately 60 meters and a height of about 4 meters. Its edges were incredibly smooth and perfectly curved. This was definitely not a natural formation. It strongly resembled the spacecraft seen in Star Wars, just like the one you see here. As soon as the news broke, it instantly captured the attention of both the media and the public. Many speculated that this was a crashed alien spacecraft, abandoned after a malfunction. If true, it would be one of the greatest discoveries in human history. However, the Ocean X team did not immediately rush to investigate. By the time they found the object, night had fallen and their fuel supply was running low. They decided to return to port, rest, and properly prepare their equipment before attempting to explore the mysterious structure. The next day, the Ocean X team returned with a well-planned strategy for what could be a dangerous expedition. Given the challenging conditions of the Baltic Sea, the divers would face significant risks if they attempted to approach the object without proper safety measures. Therefore, using a small submarine seemed like the most logical option. And that's when things took a strange turn. As they got closer to the object, their submarine suddenly experienced an unexplained malfunction. The team members immediately activated emergency protocols and retreated from the area as quickly as possible. But then, just a short distance away, all the equipment suddenly returned to normal. They repeated the approach multiple times, and the results remained the same. This indicated that, within a 200-meter radius around the object, there seemed to be a strange energy field disrupting electronic devices on board the submarine. Clearly, this mysterious object could not have formed naturally. It was almost certainly artificially created. But the question was, by whom? Or rather, by what? Determined to uncover the truth, the Ocean X team decided to change their approach. This time, they selected a highly experienced diver to descend alone. The submarine would remain at a safe distance, more than 200 meters away, outside the interference zone. At the bottom of the sea, visibility was extremely poor, so dark that he couldn't even see his own fingers. The only light he had was the headlamp guiding his way as he carefully approached the massive object. Upon reaching it, he immediately took out his tools, attempting to collect a small sample for analysis. However, as soon as he made contact, his flashlight suddenly went out. At the same time, his oxygen supply abruptly shut off. Panic immediately set in. Struggling to stay calm, he began swimming back toward the submarine, trying to communicate with his team. But then, his radio malfunctioned as well. The crew on board couldn't hear a word he was saying. But sensing that something was terribly wrong, they quickly pulled on his safety tether and rescued him. The team was deeply frustrated by the outcome of this mission. After a brief silence, they began debating whether they should return home. Some wanted to press on, while others insisted on abandoning the mission for safety reasons. Tensions ran high. Then, one brave diver made the decision to take another risk. This time, luck was on his side. He successfully retrieved a sample from the object. The sample was carefully transported to a laboratory for analysis, and when the results came back, they left everyone stunned. Scientists at the lab discovered that the sample contained a significant amount of metal elements, including titanium, iron, and manganese. But what truly shocked them was this. The composition of these elements was highly complex, not something naturally occurring. Using radiometric dating, they determined that the object had been resting on the ocean floor for a staggering 140,000 years. So, what exactly was it? And where did it come from? The most widely accepted scientific hypothesis came from Volker Breuherta of Stockholm University. According to him, the object was merely a rock formation. The Baltic Sea had been heavily shaped by melting glaciers, and this type of rock could have formed during that process. However, his theory failed to explain one crucial detail. Why did phones, satellites, and electronic equipment malfunction whenever they got close to the object? Because of this, his explanation was far from convincing to most people. It seemed that this would remain an unsolved mystery forever. But then, just days later, the team made another shocking discovery. While analyzing the sonar images taken during the initial encounter, they noticed something unusual. A long trail behind the mysterious disc-shaped object, as if it had skidded across the ocean floor before coming to a stop. You can clearly see the skid mark in this restored image. The members of the Ocean X salvage team speculated that this was a crashed UFO. After all, to leave such a long skid mark and remain intact for hundreds of thousands of years, the object must have been traveling at an extreme speed, comparable to that of a meteorite crashing into Earth. And as mentioned earlier, it's unlikely that nature alone created it. Lacking the manpower and financial resources, the Ocean X team reached out to the Swedish military for assistance in salvaging the object for further study. Unfortunately, their request was denied. Despite this setback, the team refused to give up. They conducted multiple dives to revisit the object. However, the Baltic Sea's unique geographical features made its terrain extremely treacherous. To this day, the mysterious object remains in the exact same spot where it was first discovered, and we still don't know what it truly is. Could it be an ancient relic, or evidence of an extraterrestrial civilization? Whatever the truth may be, this discovery is incredibly valuable. It challenges us to think deeply about humanity's past and future, and it guides us toward a better understanding of the universe's mysteries and scientific frontiers. Although the Baltic Sea object remains unexplained, it has sparked renewed interest in similar past cases. After all, the ocean is the perfect place for extraterrestrial beings to hide. The connection between UFO and USO becomes even more evident as people revisit past incidents. In the opening section, we mentioned that the Department of Defense had officially begun studying UFO and USO together. Hundreds of new USO reports were quickly collected, allowing researchers to analyze the data in greater depth. Among those reports, Bob McGuire, Director of Research at the Hume Center for National Security and Technology at Virginia Tech, personally described his own bizarre encounters during his time in the military. McGuire's first encounter with a USO happened in the 1990, while he was on a classified mission aboard the USS Hampton. During a deep-sea dive, he and his crewmates suddenly heard a strange noise. The sound came from an unidentified underwater object, moving at an unbelievable speed, and when they checked the instruments, the object was moving at a cause speed faster than the speed of sound in air. Did the US military ever figure out what this USO was? McGuire simply responded, "That's classified. I can't reveal any more." His second encounter happened in 2008. At the time, he was aboard the USS Blue Ridge, an amphibious command ship deployed off the coast of East Asia. One day, the ship was caught in a massive storm. McGuire was inside the bridge, and although the ship was deep inside the storm, the sky outside didn't appear to be raining. Curious, he decided to look out the window to check the situation himself, and that's when he saw it. A blindingly bright golden yellow light hovered just above the water's surface. The object was so massive that its light engulfed the entire ship, and yet it moved eerily slow. Then, without warning, it accelerated at an impossible speed, disappearing from view within seconds. In fact, there have been countless reports of eyewitness encounters with USO. This has led many people, including experts, to ask, could these mysterious beings really be visiting Earth on a regular basis? But an even bigger question arises. Is there an alien base hidden beneath the depths of our oceans? One man once claimed that he had been invited to visit such a base. That man was Jorge Ferradini. His story was so extraordinary that a team of respected investigators spent 8 years researching it. And in the end, they reached a conclusion. What Ferradini experienced was incredibly rare and real. So, what really happened? On an evening in August 1956, Ferradini was out on a boat near a beach in Argentina. He sat in silence, waiting for a fish to bite. But suddenly, he heard a noise behind him. At first, he assumed it was a group of homeless people, and out of habit, he prepared to offer them some cigarettes and water as an act of kindness. But when he turned around, there was no one there. Instead, standing before him was a tall being, staring right at him. Ferradini froze. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. Then, the being took a step forward. There were no words. Yet somehow, Ferradini understood. It wanted him to come along. Under normal circumstances, anyone would have panicked and run away. But Ferradini didn't. Instead, he felt an unexplainable sense of calm. Perhaps, the being had used some kind of technique to influence his mind. Moments later, Ferradini saw the flying saucer slowly rise from the ocean and hover before them. The being walked toward the craft. It motioned for Ferradini to follow. And so, he stepped aboard. But just then, something even more astonishing happened. He wasn't alone on that ship. There was also a 12-year-old girl. She introduced herself. "My name is Elena. I just got here too." At this moment, the being, through telepathic communication, instructed them to change into a different outfit. Within seconds, Ferradini's entire body was enveloped in a special material, something he had never seen before. The spacecraft suddenly plunged into the ocean before resurfacing near Sanbo Longbang Bay in Argentina. After traveling across the sea for a while, the craft eventually reached the waters near Africa, where, without warning, it shot up into space. Ferradini recalled that during his time in space, he saw a complete view of Earth and the Moon. What's most remarkable is that his description of Earth and the Moon perfectly matches what we observe today. The first time humanity officially confirmed the shape of Earth was in 1961, when Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin made history as the first human to journey into space. But Ferradini had already described Earth and the Moon accurately back in 1956. This became one of the most compelling reasons why many believe his experience was real. As Ferradini and Elena stepped off the spacecraft, they found themselves inside a massive structure. Through the windows, They could see that the entire place was enclosed by a gigantic crystal-like dome. Beneath the dome, there were numerous buildings and several spacecraft of similar designs. You could almost imagine it, a city beneath the ocean. While the two stood in awe, struggling to grasp what they were seeing, one of the extraterrestrials turned to them and said, "This is a spaceship maintenance base." At the base, another alien approached, carrying a tray with 10 egg-shaped objects in red, yellow, brown, and green colors. Along with them was a container filled with a thick, transparent liquid. Following instructions, Ferradini and Elena each ate one of the egg-shaped objects and drank the liquid. It had no taste and caused no discomfort. After that, they were placed separately on stretchers and taken to a room bathed in a soft golden light. Not long after, they drifted into sleep. When they awoke, they were shocked to realize they could now read each other's thoughts, as if communicating without speaking. At that moment, an alien approached them and said, "You have just undergone a very important test. The results of this survey would be used for research to gain a deeper understanding of the physical and mental state of humans." The extraterrestrials told Ferradini and Elena that they were both in excellent health, and through this test, they had even calculated their exact time of death. What the alien said next shocked Ferradini. They revealed that humans possess a very special organ, the pineal gland. This, they explained, is the greatest characteristic of Earth's primitive races. However, in the majority of people, it remains inactive. They further explained that if this organ could be activated, humans would be capable of reaching a level of intelligence and ability equal to or even surpassing other advanced species. The extraterrestrials also provided insights about cancer to Ferradini. They stated that cancer occurs due to the degeneration of non-conducting glands, which then seek out the weakest organs in the body to attack, causing abnormal cell mutations. Surprisingly, this explanation perfectly aligns with modern scientific research on the disease. However, for Ferradini, these details were not only ahead of their time, but also beyond the limits of his imagination. In other words, even if he were making up a story, an ordinary man like Ferradini could not have achieved such scientific accuracy. When his entire journey with the extraterrestrials ended, Ferradini suddenly woke up at the exact same spot where he had been fishing. Checking the time, he realized that 6 hours had passed. Perhaps influenced by Ferradini's story, the famous Canadian director James Cameron went on to create the 1989 film The Abyss. The movie tells the story of an underwater alien civilization that initially intended to destroy humanity, but in the end was moved by the goodness in people and chose instead to help them. Even today, this film remains a beloved classic. Unlike UFO, which are mostly documented in old reports, USO have become far more common in modern times. And most importantly, we are now conducting serious scientific research on them. One notable recent event was the fireball over Papua New Guinea in 2014. More specifically, on January 19, 2014, a mysterious fireball streaked across the night sky, exploded over the Pacific Ocean, and crashed near the coast of Papua New Guinea. This fireball was later named IM-1. After years of effort, on June 14, 2023, Professor Avi Loeb of Harvard University led a team to the Papua New Guinea coastline to investigate the mysterious object. After 2 weeks of intense searching, they finally discovered metallic remnants, the melted remains of IM-1. But how did they find it, and what exactly did they uncover? Loeb's team worked with local authorities to pinpoint a 10-kilometer radius where the meteorite likely crashed. They then swept the seafloor using powerful magnets to search for any unusual materials. With the help of advanced technology, the team soon uncovered 10 strange metallic spheres. Loeb believes these spheres may have been manufactured using an extraterrestrial technology. Even leading astrophysicists agree. These fragments are almost certainly from another star system. What were these spheres made of? Elemental analysis revealed that they consist of 84% iron, 8% silicon, 4% magnesium, 2% titanium, and trace amounts of other elements. Each sphere is less than 1 millimeter in size. Some even resembled miniature versions of Earth itself. But there's more. Professor Loeb also revealed another astonishing detail. We calculated their speed outside the solar system, reaching up to 60 kilometers per second. Even more incredible, these spheres are made of materials tougher than iron meteorites and move faster than 95% of all known stars. In the vast space surrounding the Sun, there is a real possibility that IM-1 might not be just an ordinary meteorite. It could be a spacecraft from an advanced civilization, or perhaps a piece of alien technology. Professor Avi Loeb compares this situation to NASA's Voyager probes, which were launched in 1977 and are still drifting through deep space today. He envisions a scenario where, 1 billion years from now, if Voyager were to crash into an alien planet, it would plunge down just like a meteorite, exactly like what happened with him. However, if that's true, then these 10 mysterious metallic spheres must contain some kind of message. A message we have yet to decipher. You might not know this, but Avi Loeb is often called Harvard's alien hunter. According to The Independent, he serves on the US Presidential Council for Science and Technology. He's also the leader of the Galileo Project, a scientific initiative dedicated to finding concrete evidence of extraterrestrial life and technology. That's why I believe the discoveries made by Professor Loeb regarding these mysterious metal spheres are not without solid scientific basis. Should we be looking to the ocean instead of the stars? While we continue to explore space, perhaps it's time we pay more attention to the ocean. Sometimes what we search for, so desperately, could be right in front of us. What if aliens aren't out in space at all, but are hiding right here on Earth? What do you think? Is this idea too far-fetched? Or could there be some truth to it? Your thoughts and opinions will make this discussion even more meaningful. So, don't hesitate. Leave a comment below this video and share your perspective. And for now, this is Fax 360 TVE signing off. See you next time. Wishing you all a wonderful day with your loved ones.